The SEC has gotten in touch with Twitter user Barney about the MMTLP situation. So what's the latest update? Stay focused as we go through recent news as well as my MMAT chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. An agent from the Securities and Exchanges Commission called Barney, who was inquiring about the MMTLP market corruption, and the agent said that they're receiving hundreds of calls and messages from investors and that they don't have any information about this fraud at the moment, but will contact the user back in a week after properly researching this matter. The entire community was filled with hope after this call's recording was shared on Twitter by the user, and in our opinion, this issue is getting more clarity as time passes and as it gets more attention. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right over now in the 1-day chart for MMAT, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But before we do that, as always, we'll first talk about MMTLP and the recent updates that I have about it. First up, an FOIA complaint has been filed against FINRA, right? So what's going to happen is that now, first up, if you don't know what FOIA is, it's basically Freedom of Information Act, right? So FOIA, and under that act, you can request information from government agencies, right, around things that they might have done, right? Any operations or anything that they might have carried out. That, of course, was in public interest and not some sort of secret information. So that's why someone, or rather one investor, right? I got this, of course, from Twitter. An investor has filed a FOIA against FINRA, I believe, right? So this, of course, is with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the S.E.C, and this is, of course, in regards to the entire, MMTLP situation. So this letter basically states that the request has been marked, and the request will be assigned to a research specialist for processing, and whenever something happens, the guy that filed it will be notified of whatever has been found. And at the same time, if he does not receive a response after 30 days, then he has the right to seek dispute resolution services from their offices and stuff like that. So that's basically the gist of what the letter has to say. But at the same time, Dave Lawyer, who's of course creating Urban Finance, right, who calls himself an advocate for fair markets, did get an interview with Gary Gensler, right? Gary Gensler, of course, if you don't know him, he is the chairperson of the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States of America. And basically, he did not ask any questions straightforwardly about MMTLP and the FINRA corruption that's going on. So that's, of course, one problem. But at the same time, he did ask about dark pools and, off-market volumes and off-market liquidity. And to that, Gary responded that off-market volumes, or rather off-market trading, is a thing, right? And they do count in the volumes, but they do not affect the share price, which I personally don't think is true because, of course, if we look at, well, we can't really look at MMTLP's chart, it's gone now, right? But at the same time, most of us know that it crashed in the pre-market somewhat, right? And a lot of people saw that, right? A lot of people have shared the screenshots on Twitter, and of course, if I can find any, I'll attach them in the pinned comment. And that kind of proves it that if the trading was halted and the shares were trading, it means that they were trading on the off market. But at the same time, if the off market volumes do not contribute to the price action, why did that fall, right? Why did the stock fall? Why did that fall happen? That, of course, is a great question, and that's a very important question as well because it further kind of takes us into the entire question: are markets really fair? Which I personally don't think they are, right? Because we've all seen countless times since AMC, GME, all of those times that if Robinhood, for example, now one thing that's happening right now is with Cosmos, right? So Cosmos Holdings is another share that's been squeezing. You can see it over here, right? I'll be kind of making another video on this as well, so you can go to my channel and check that out. But what basically happened is that when the stock went up by like I guess 60 times, right? 6,000%, something like that, the basically Robinhood took away the buy and sell option, which of course, well, is a straight up violation of any investor's rights. And this, of course, is one thing that I talk about a lot, right? Investor rights and financial rights, right? What happens is that this situation even is not even limited to MMTLP, right? Overall, if we look at the course of history as well, manipulations have always been there. Under the table deals have always been there. Corruption has always been there. And you can find it everywhere from third world countries to first world countries, which of course is a massive problem. And the only person, or rather the only people, the only group of people being affected by this is, middle class people, right? The people that work a 9 to 5, the people that make like two, three, $5,000 a month, right? Those are the people that are affected the most by this because first up, they get a way, right? They find a way to make money, and soon the government is like, hey, we can't have you doing that. You're supposed to be stuck in the rat race, and then they put you back into the rat race by kind of draining you out of all that you put into that specific way of making money, right? And that's currently what they're doing to the markets, right? They want the retail to only invest in companies like Google and stuff, right? Only invest into index funds and stuff like that, right? That's the problem that I have with the market. The markets should be a place where any person can come and make money, right? And markets are basically an instrument for making money, right? That is my entire point. Markets should be an instrument for making money, and they should not be able, and no one should be able to manipulate them. This is basically, I think, all of us are fighting for this exact reason, right? That no one should be able to manipulate markets. But at the same time, now I have one last thing to talk about. So, an investor and Twitter user named Uncle Smoky Stock Trades has said that I am on my way to see if I can grab the attention of the Senator Michael Ruley, right? So he's asking people to wish him luck, and that, of course, is an interesting thread of tweets. So I'll, kind of mark that down in the pinned comment as well, and you can go and check that out for yourself and follow up, of course, with any updates if he gives any. And now let's come back into MMAT. We can see that yesterday we went up by 2.92% after opening in a gap down. Why did this happen? Well, first up, we'll have to look over here, right? We did go all the way down around $1.2, of course, a support zone, right? I always tell you guys that MMAT has linear support and resistance, right? So 1.2, 1.25, 1.3, and so on and so forth. At the same time, we can see that yesterday, right, the day before Friday, so that was Thursday, we got a red candle, which was in a pattern, it was in a form of pretty much an inside candle, which indicates further, volatility in the next candle. And over here, we can see that now we got a pin bar candle on the upside. So I personally I'm expecting something to happen, which I'll tell you. We can see that over here, first up, I already told you guys that we might be building a cup and handle pattern somewhat, right? So this is not exactly a good thing in my opinion, because now we can see that we did get a lot of selling pressure. At the end of the day, buyers won, right? But at the same time, if we follow this up on Monday with a red candle, this might turn into a bearish trend. But at the same time, if we get a green candle to follow up the spin bar that we built over here, right, MMAT might go up. Now, at the same time, we do need to realize that MMAT right now is somewhat of a vulnerable stock because it will be affected by the news surrounding MMTLP and Meta Materials, of course, as a company as well, and NextBridge Hydrocarbons as well, because what was supposed to happen is that MMTLP shareholders would make a ton of money and they would pour all of those profits, they would pour all of their profits into MMAT, buy up these shares, and the stock would skyrocket, going to $15, $20, right? That's what was supposed to happen. But still, with the current company that they have and the current fan following that they've acquired, I believe that the stock, I'll reiterate on my target of $10 over a 1 year period, right? It might be achieved sooner than that, later than that, but $10 should be a good target for this company. And with that being said, we'll have to jump on into the 1 hour chart to analyze the stock further. And now that we're in the 1 hour chart, we can see that we started 16th December in a bearish momentum, but over here we got a pin bar candle on the upside, followed by a green candle, which flipped things over, and we finally got a bullish trend. So this over here was a good time to buy with a stop loss somewhere around here, right? 4.4% and a 6% target, I guess, right? So 4% to 6%, that's a 1.5 to 1 ratio trade. And we can see that you could have easily achieved it twice, twice of 4% as well. So that's 8%, but still a 6% target is enough, right? You could have easily achieved that over here. At the same time, we'll not talk about the trades that we've lost, but we'll talk about the trades that are about to come now. So what's going to happen on Monday, in my opinion, since we already got a good rally, we probably will continue this rally, right? I do think that 1.2 is proving to be a bottom for the stock. So if we continue the rally, of course, we'll be breaking the cup and handle pattern, and that, of course, will eliminate the possibility of a bearish trend in the short term. But if in case we get a green, or rather a red candle, I'm sorry, and we fall down and fall below the $1.2 range, then we will just intensify the cup and handle pattern, and then we might be able to go down even further, which of course I personally am not wishing for. But if we want to see what exactly went on over here, we'll have to jump on into the 5-minute chart without wasting any more time. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart for Friday's trading session, we can see that over here we did get pretty dry volumes around the $1.23 range, right? Of course, we got supported around 1.25, right? We were resisted around 1.3, right? We can see that over here. We got resisted around 1.35 over here as well, right? At the same time, 1.4 pretty much, right? Same things. And then 1.42 was the last resistance that we had to face, which of course, we did get good volumes around this time. And this single candle that we got over here accounted for about a 5% rise, which is crazy in my opinion, right? And if we look at the aftermarket, why did I do that? If we look at the aftermarket performance as well, we can see that we fell down to a price of $1.33, which is not exactly the best sign for Monday, right? At the same time, if we look over here, we can see that we did fall pre-market over here on 15th and between 15th and 16th as well, but we still went up. So, well, fingers crossed. I hope that we get a bullish day on Monday, and with that I could be wrong as well. So with that, remember that this most definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. If however you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.